Angel Reese makes her Unrivaled season debut on Friday as Rose chase a late playoff push. Angel Reese will make her Unrivaled season debut on Friday, returning to the Rose for another South Beach stint as the team navigates a critical stretch of regular season games. The timing matters because the Rose sit below 500 and face a struggling Hive in a game that could shape their final week positioning. What happened and what's new? Angel Reese is back in Unrivaled play after being named to the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament squad. Her return marks a second stint in the off-season league for a player who concluded her first Unrivaled run with 2 league-wide awards, including Defensive Player of the Year. Reese will rejoin the Rose roster, which will be coached this time by the franchise's inaugural head coach, Nola Henry. The Rose meet the Hive at 8:45 p.m. MAT on February 20th as part of the final regular season slate ahead of postseason play. Angel Reese. Behind the headline. The immediate competitive picture is clear from recent results and team-level numbers. The Rose opened their season 3-0 but then slipped to a 5-6 record, leaving them mid-table and several games behind the league leader. The opposing Hive have struggled, sitting near the bottom with a 3-8 mark and league-low averages in scoring, rebounds and assists. Individual playmakers are front and center. The Rose feature a high-usage star who is leading the competition in scoring and assists, supported by reliable scorers and interior rebounders. The Hive counter with notable scorers and a strong rebounder, but overall team efficiency has lagged. From a roster and competitive standpoint, Reese's arrival is positioned as a defensive reinforcement and a familiar presence among a mix of returnees and newcomers. The Rose still must navigate a schedule that includes multiple games in short order before postseason play begins at the end of the month. While we still don't know how many minutes Angel Reese will play in her first game back and how quickly she will be integrated into the rotation, the immediate impact on team chemistry with the Rose's mix of veterans and new additions under the inaugural head coach, whether Reese's international commitment to the qualifying tournament will affect availability later in the week. Specific match-level role assignments for defensive and offensive sets following her return. How opposing teams will adjust defensively to the Rose's backcourt and frontcourt combinations now that Reese is active. What happens next? Win and momentum. If the Rose win the Friday matchup, they improve their chance to reach 500 and bolster their late push toward the postseason. Trigger. A balanced scoring attack and tightened defense with Reese contributing on the boards and in defensive rotations. Close loss, incremental progress. A narrow defeat could still show evidence of improved defensive cohesion and set the stage for adjustments across the final regular season games. Trigger. Visible chemistry gains even without an immediate change to the standings. Loss with chemistry questions. A lopsided loss would intensify pressure on the Rose's remaining games and raise questions about lineup fit and coaching adjustments. Trigger. Continued offensive inconsistency and rebounding deficits. Hive upset. If the Hive pull off an upset, it would complicate the Rose's playoff calculations and reward the Hive for any late-season improvements. Trigger. A high-volume scoring night from the Hive's primary scorers and extra possessions rebounds. Reese as defensive catalyst. Over several games, Reese could establish the Rose's defensive identity and help flip close contests. Trigger. Rebounds, stops and transition opportunities generated by her defensive presence. Why it matters. The immediate stakes are practical and measurable. The Rose are trying to salvage a regular season that cooled after an early hot start, and returnees like Angel Reese are expected to influence both matchup outcomes and the team's seeding trajectory ahead of the postseason tipping off later this month. For the Hive, a win would provide a rare lift and underwear adjustments are working. For fans and bettors, the matchup will be a short-term barometer of how much weight a returning defensive standout can carry in a condensed schedule. Near-term implications include potential lineup stability for the Rose, clearer defensive assignments, and a reshuffling of minutes that may affect individual statistics and team metrics over the final week of the regular season. The broader picture to monitor is whether Reese's re-entry changes playoff odds for the conference or simply provides marginal improvement heading into the postseason window.